So to create the handle via TS, let's go to model. Let's make a TS object. Okay, maybe hide the sketch for the moment. And I will start simply with a cube. Maybe let's turn snap on. Nope. Maybe let's say here. Plus minus. Okay. What was the warning? Visibility. Okay, that's fine. Good. So this whole object, then this cube I can move up. Let's for the moment work just with faces. Okay, so I will select all this and maybe move this one to there. And then I start rotating it. The tricky part with T-splines will be to figure out the proper amount of, I'm gonna say that, loop cuts you need. Okay, so select all this, move them to there. Also, let's double check that we really select everything. So a good step or tip at this point would be, we do not really work on a solid object. We will simply work on half an object. Select all these faces, delete them, go to mirror duplicate this object along my construction plane, so the XY global, no, XZ global. Okay, that's the reason why it was so important to also create that cube via snapping right on the grid. Okay, so now I'm pretty free to again select maybe just hold on, I just go to edge select and move this one maybe to there, and then I hold Alt key, push this one to there, and Y, interesting, that's what it did. Okay, so then maybe let's just select these two top faces, Alt key, that works better. Then we can rotate this and Alt rotate this, there, Alt and extrude. Okay, so it's a very basic start, and something interesting happened there. In case this happens, let's see if we can fix this. Let's select all these faces here which are double, delete them. Okay, so interestingly, maybe this was because my mouse glitched for a moment. I had some problems there. And to double check, I will do this, clear symmetry. Okay, so it's gone. Select all this, delete it, mirror duplicate along there. Okay, there, perfect. Okay, so the trick with Tspline is to figure out how many loop cuts or cross sections do I need, because essentially what I'm selecting here, these loops, that is equal to H1, H2, H3, all these profiles. And this is a more sculptural approach. Has the freedom of, I'm not limited to 2D sketches, and I can move this stuff around. It also has the disadvantage that I need to understand the topology I'm creating and how that actually will influence the surface created. So maybe like there. If I want, I could actually select those two and delete it, so I just have a flat opening. Okay, good. So this seems to match closely. Let's take a look at what we have actually here. And all these edges I move inwards, and yeah, okay, we seem to be close. Can also show maybe the sketch. so I have a good idea of where I am. And let's rotate this there. Okay, and oh, there's only one edge. Okay, so in this edge, maybe push down a little bit there. Okay, this one maybe a little bit to there. There. Okay, so this complete loop cut I'm selecting here right now. You can see how this is nicely arced. That one I want to be creased, so it's a sharp edge. So later I can fillet that. Okay. And it looks like I captured the shape pretty good. Maybe this I will move a little bit over to there. Okay. And maybe this one I move to there. Don't be too perfectionist at the beginning, because when we adjust the topology, a lot of the T-spline surfaces will change a lot. So try to do that everything like step by step. Okay, let's take a look from here. So my cross section is rather boxy. That means all this I maybe move inwards a little bit, and there you can see how this starts to arc a little bit nicer. Okay, good. Let's go top view. I want to show my initial canvas image, so maybe probably what I will have to do is all this. Top view, I have to move inwards. There. Okay, and maybe you there, and this one here, maybe a little bit outwards. Good. And you, and you go to there a little bit so it gets in more. And the beauty again of the T-spline stuff is because it's pretty free, I can select a single edge and just push it out. Oh, my mouse scrolling was crazy. And then this way I can nicely sculpt everything. This demo is pretty fast because I have years of experience. When I see a shape, I have already kind of like a good idea how I might have to lay out the CVs. So when you're new to it, this might take a little bit of practice. However, like with learning how to ride a bike, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But you can see it's actually a fairly straightforward process. So here, this may be a little bit like this. I could rotate this edge, bring it to there. Don't have to be too picky because, again, we will later anyway still trim this stuff. So here, this is not good, and there is one really great tool in Fusion with T-splines. I need an additional loop cut. I can make a loop cut, but then my shape will change. And that's a common problem with sub-D modelers which are polygon based. But in T-splines we have Subdivide with exact. Now I can select maybe this and this, and you see how it actually specify added these parts. Let's see which one it's not I need. So I think here 0 and here 1, 2, Is this one? I'm confused now about which one is which one. Okay, it doesn't actually do it the way how I want. Hold on 1 second. So let's click this face. So 2 go actually length this way. Yeah, so 3. Yeah. So I select kind of like the right thing, but it's not really what I want. Or we can also use the insert edge, and here we have the same. So based on the topology, in my case, it was not really usable for that. Here we can insert another cross section, kind of like a new sketch, and I will kind of like bring it to where I maybe need it. There, with exact turned on. Click OK, and unfortunately it added more geometry points to it. Yeah. Okay. I shouldn't have praised this function too much. It's not its fault, but it's probably a pretty complicated situation, because essentially what I was hoping the software would be able to do is add this green loop cut where I want, and then this blue, and for example this blue loop cut will be repositioned so we maintain the same surface. Unfortunately that doesn't work right now, but it's not a big deal. Single. Okay, you see how everything updated, not really ideal, but then it's not really a problem. We can just de-stress everything there. And maybe let's take a look at this one here. When we go to press Ctrl 1 with an object selected, we can see how our topology looks like. This is kind of crazy, so I will de-stress this a little bit. This one I will move down. Ctrl 3, get the smooth preview back. Now you see this is a nice loop cut that's kind of perpendicular to this arc, the way how I want it to be. Okay, that is good. And here, let's select this one. We can maybe also select this face and just position this whole face to where we want. There, and this face we move up. There, and here, this face, maybe we rotate it a little bit. You see how we can adjust everything with that. Pretty good. Okay. So then the last thing only that is left is try to figure out how smooth is everything. So for example, maybe you and you, we can move these up maybe a little bit. So all those slight edge, and zoom out a little bit to there. And then here we have a slider. So I will move this up a little bit, maybe to there. Okay. And there you can see how it adjusted. And also this one, we would like to slide a little bit, maybe more to there. Okay. So now we can see what happens if we delete this loop. Yeah, and we have a pretty nice and clean geometry now. Yeah. So, and then now we can go back, maybe these two, select, move apart to make that area a little bit wider, maybe where the finger is a little bit smaller, so the ring index finger. This is rather flat. If we don't like that being so flat, then maybe this point I simply move up. This point maybe I move down. There you can see how we adjusted it. Okay, click Finish Form. Let's turn this off. There you see now there's our beautiful surface. And to make this work with the rest, pretty much it's the same idea. We try to create a solid, and then we continue exactly the same steps with joining all these parts and then splitting, etc. And then we are done. And you see with the Tspline object, we got a pretty nice surface with a lot less work, but based on the type of shape. Sometimes this is faster. Sometimes it can also be more complicated based on your modeling ability. I notice actually here, because I deleted some of the edges, I removed some loop cuts, this actually shrank. So I have to adjust this there, and this actually, let's say we match the original sketch, not the canvas image. So I would say there we are pretty close. Let's take a look how this feels now. There you can see this actually looks very much like a strong C, or not C, a V. So maybe these points, let's say if we move them out a little bit, maybe a little bit down there, then we can help there a little bit. Okay, perfect. Good, and that was basically everything I wanted to show you.